This is your USMNT Abroad weekend update from December 20th to December 22nd of 2024. Hello, Merry Christmas, and if you are new here, I'm Filippo, and welcome to Tactical Manager TV, and welcome to the US Men's National Team Abroad series, where every single Monday we update you on how the Yanks did abroad over the weekend. Now we have a great giveaway, a tremendous giveaway this Christmas, where we will announce the winner before New Year's. You see this US Men's National Team jersey signed by the entire roster back in 2023? Yes, we're going to give it away. I'm going to give you the instructions in a second here. Now, understand, the only way we could do a better giveaway than this would be if I had gotten like Bono, the greatest Canadian singer of all time, to sign this jersey. Unfortunately, I emailed him. He didn't want to sign it, so we're just going to have to go with the players. And for this giveaway, we are partnering up with Sorare. We're putting the instructions on Instagram, so you're going to have to go follow us on Instagram, which is just Tactical Manager TV, and go to one of the pinned reels, okay? You're also going to need a Sorare account, which you can make one for free if you use the link in our bio, okay? It will be free, and that'll help you enter the giveaway and win this jersey. Now, if you use the link in our bio and you end up buying cards on Sorare, after you buy the first 5 cards at any price, you will get $50 in credit. But again, to enter the giveaway, it will be free. So pretty much go to our Instagram, follow us there, check out the reel. It'll have all the instructions. It will be free to enter, but you will need a Sorare account. All right? With that said, don't forget to drop a like before we start this episode. I believe it's the second to last of this year. We're going to have one more next week. And that's all. Let's try to hit 1,000 likes. Put a random comment in the comment section down below to rig the YouTube algorithm. And roll the intro. As always, we start with the top 5 leagues in Europe, the first one being the English Premier League. So let's go to England. And why don't we start with Chris Richards and Matt Turner from Crystal Palace. And on Saturday, Chris Richards started. Actually, he was back in the starting 11 for Crystal Palace, and he played the full 90 minutes for them during their 5-1 loss to Arsenal. This was his first start since late September. Now, the good news here is obviously that he was back in the starting 11. The bad news is that he dropped the stinker. And I know that Crystal Palace was bad in general, but that does not help Chris Richards in his case. Look, I like Chris Richards a lot. I think he's a great player, but fair is fair, and he did not have a good game. I don't feel like getting into details, but if my memory does not fail me, he was at fault in 4 out of the 5 goals. It was just a bad performance. As for Matt Turner, he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. Next up, we have A-Rob from Fulham. And on Sunday, Anthony Robinson started and played the full 90 minutes for Fulham during their 0-0 draw with Southampton. Now, the result wasn't really good for Fulham, but we got another rock-solid performance from A-Rob in the Premier League. And most of the people watching this series, they're just US Men's National Team fans, and a few are obviously Fulham fans. There are a lot of Fulham fans in America, but what we really care about is how A-Rob did, and he did great, once again. Next up, we have Tyler Adams from Bournemouth. And on Sunday, Tyler Adams started and played 89 minutes for Bournemouth during their 3-0 win against Manchester United at the Old Trafford. Tyler Adams had a tremendous defensive performance. He was really good. He played a big role protecting the back line and played it safe on the ball in possession. He won 4 out of 5 tackles, 7 out of 10 ground duels, and had 10 defensive actions while helping Bournemouth hold the clean sheet. He was incredible. He's looking far more comfortable with the team, and I'm going to stop it right here because I know I have terrible jinxing powers, so I'm not going to talk about, his health. As Uncle Ben used to say, with great powers come great irresponsibilities. But personally, I don't know why Spider-Man would even listen to Uncle Ben. The guy literally had no superpowers. He got shot, bang, and dead. So, I mean, I get it. It's your uncle. You can listen to him all you want, but I don't know why anyone would listen to Uncle Ben. Do you want to end like Uncle Ben? No. So why would you listen to him? Okay, time to leave England and go to Italy so we can talk about the Americans in the Serie A. The first two being Christian Pulisic and Yunus Musa from Milan. And on Friday, Milan played, but Pulisic and Musa were still not available due to injury. However, Pulisic is expected to be back next weekend, or at the latest against Juventus on January 3rd, which is good news. It means he'll be back sooner rather than later. And the same is expected for Yunus Musa. However, he's more likely to be back after New Year's, but he'll be back soon as well. Also, last week during the midweek, we released a video discussing with two special guests whether or not Christian Pulisic could become a Milan legend. I know that sounds crazy, but watch the episode. It's not that crazy. I mean, he probably won't become one. It's very tough, but there is a chance. It's possible, and we discussed that in the video, so go check that out. It's one of our most recent videos. Now let's talk about the two Americans that play for Juventus, and their names are Weston McKennie and Tim Weah. And on Sunday, McKennie started and pretty much played the full 90 minutes for Juve, as he was subbed out around the 90th minute during their 2-1 win over Monza. McKennie was among the top performers this game, and probably the main reason why Juventus got this win. First and foremost, he scored their first goal. And obviously there are some trolls and L3 fans on Twitter or X, whatever you call it these days, that said that he just scored a tap-in. But let's go through two things. One, it was actually a very tough finish. It was from close range, but that is not an easy finish. Go watch the goal yourself. And second, he was in the right place at the right time. All right, that must be said. I mean, I wasn't there. Were you there? No. Why weren't the other players there? He was in the right place at the right time, and that was a tap-in, sure, because it was from close range, but that's not an easy finish. On top of that, the second goal only happened because Weston McKennie managed to keep the ball alive in the box after a poor cross from his teammate. So Juventus had 2 goals this game, and Weston McKennie scored one and was directly involved in the second. He was also great defensively throughout the game, playing mostly as a left back. Yes, you heard that right. McKennie played most of the game as a left back. It wasn't till I think halfway through the second half where they moved him to the midfield and Cambiasso played as a left back. And I gotta say it, Weston McKennie's soccer IQ and versatility at the highest level is nothing short of incredible. Okay, now Tim Weah was not available due to explosive diarrhea, and he will be out for 20 days. Okay, I just lied. No one is out for 20 days due to explosive diarrhea. And if you are, I don't even want to know about it. So the truth is that Tim Weah actually has a hamstring injury. It's a muscle injury, and he's expected to be back sometime halfway through January of 2025. He'll be back soon, but he's going to miss the next 20 days or so. Last but not least, in Italy, we have Gianluca Busio from Venezia. And on Sunday, Busio started and pretty much played the full 90 minutes also because he was subbed out around the 90th minute during Venezia's 2-1 win over Cagliari. This was a crucial win for Venezia. I mean, they're still in the relegation zone, but now they're just 2 points away from leaving it. So I guess it's a little bit better. Okay, now before we continue, we're going to put a quick word from the sponsor of this video, Sorare. And don't forget that we have the jersey giveaway that we're partnering up with Sorare on Instagram, so go check that out. We'll be back in 60 seconds. And while you wait, make sure to drop a like, help the video get 1,000 likes. Thank you very much for that. Do you collect sports cards? Do you play fantasy sports? Yes, no, maybe? If you said yes to any of that, I got something for you. And if you said no, you might still want to stick around. Tactical Manager TV is partnering up with Sorare with a special offer. The link will be in the description. In Sorare, you can collect your own virtual cards of your favorite players. And then you may be asking, why would I want to collect virtual cards? Well, you can line them up on 5-a-side games every single week. And if your players perform in real life, you can win actual money, signed jerseys, game tickets, or even more cards to improve your own club. And you can also get unique experiences like a friend of the channel, Fiago, that got to meet Zinedine Zidane. You know what's also cool? They also have the NBA and Major League Baseball. I'm mainly gonna just stick to soccer, but you do you. What I really like about Sorare before we even partnered with them is that they're unlike other fantasy games where you have to pay per play. In Sorare, you pay to get the players you want permanently as cards, and then you can play multiple times using those same cards, at least until the player retires, win rewards if your players perform in real life. You can also buy undervalued player cards for cheap, then hold, use them in the future when they improve or develop, and then you can even sell that card when its value goes up for better ones. Or just keep the money yourself. And if you use the link in the description of this video, you will get $50 in credit after buying your first 5 cards through auctions or instant buy at any prices. Play with responsibility. All right, enjoy. Okay, we are back, and now we're going to be talking about the Americans that play in Germany in the Bundesliga. The first one being Giovanni Reina from Borussia Dortmund. And on Sunday, Gio Reyna started off the bench and was subbed in the 87th minute during Dortmund's 3-1 win over Wolfsburg. He was sent in super late with a 3-1 lead while playing man down. So essentially, he did a whole bunch of defending for a few minutes and nothing more. Julian Brandt is back and Gio Reyna is benched. And to be fair, Brandt was actually very good this game, so he kind of earned it in that sense. It's games like today that remind us why Gio Reyna must absolutely leave Borussia Dortmund as soon as possible. For this game, he got a little bit over 5 minutes. Prior to this one, he had 2 starts in a row, with some ups and downs, of course. He wasn't perfect. He even had a bad performance last weekend, even though he scored that banger. But look at it this way. It becomes impossible for a player to catch any momentum or good form with inconsistent playing time, especially a young player. I'm not blaming the coach, and I'm not making excuses here. Brandt outperformed Gio Reyna, even though he was returning from injury. So that didn't really matter. Brandt came in and played well. So again, Gio Reyna needs to find a new home. Otherwise, minutes will continue to be inconsistent. Oh, and for Wolfsburg, Kevin Paredes was not available because he's still injured, and it's kind of been like that for the entire season. Did Kevin Paredes even play this season? I actually don't remember. And I cover them every single week, and I don't remember Kevin Paredes playing. So let's skip on Kevin Paredes and talk about Joe Scally from Borussia Mönchengladbach, which, look, I know he gets a lot of hate from people from not being this standout right back like Serginho Dest, but Joe Scally has been one of the most consistent Americans in top 5 leagues over the past 2 to 3 seasons. So let's talk about him. And on Saturday, Joe Scally started and played 80 minutes for Gladbach during their 2-1 win over Hoffenheim. Now, I didn't watch this game, so I can't comment on his performance, even though I know Scally has been fairly consistent in the Bundesliga for the past 2 to 3 seasons. But Hoffenheim's goal, Joe Scally actually gave away the penalty kick for that goal. It was a silly mistake. He stretched his leg and barely hit the opponent's hand. It was a very soft call. It was a very extremely soft call, but I get it. And Scally will learn from this mistake. And in the Bundesliga, the last player I would have talked about would have been Leonard Maloney from Heidenheim, but he didn't even make the bench for them. And in the past weekend, it was reported that he had a head injury, right? We don't know if that's the case still. I didn't see any reports on it. What we do know is that he's expected to leave Heidenheim this January. Where will he go? I don't know. But maybe he just won't play for them ever again because he didn't renew his contract and they want to sell him in the January transfer window. And apparently there are plenty of teams that are interested. So I guess I'll keep you posted on that. With that said, let's leave Germany and go to Spain and talk about the Americans in La Liga. The first one would have been Luca de la Torre from Celta Vigo, but he just stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes, as always this season pretty much. He's barely playing, if ever. I think even barely playing is overhyping it. He's not playing at all. He needs a move in January. Whether it's a loan or a permanent transfer, it doesn't matter. He has to leave Celta Vigo if he wants to play. So let's skip Luca de la Torre and talk about Johnny Cardoso from Real Betis. And on Sunday, Johnny started and played the full 90 minutes for Real Betis during their 1-1 draw with Rayo in La Liga. I wasn't able to watch this game because I was watching Weston Mckennie play for Juventus at the same time while I was listening to the Backstreet Boys. The American boy band that took down the British boy band called the Beatles. So because of that, because of Mckennie and the Backstreet Boys, I can't really comment on Johnny's performance, but based on his stats and some comments that I saw online, it seems like Johnny did fine. He had a solid performance. And now we are going to leave Spain and go to France while you hit the like button and support the channel for free. Thank you very much for hitting the like button right now. And in France, the first player would have been Florin Balogun, but he had shoulder surgery and he's out for 4 months. He won't be back till probably April, maybe late March, but most likely April. The other player would have been Caleb Wiley from Strasbourg, the young left back, but he also got shoulder surgery, but he's not going to be out for 4 months. He'll be out for 2 months. So we're going to skip on those two and talk about the ones that actually played. And the first one is Marc Mackenzie from Toulouse. And on Saturday, Mackenzie started and played the full 90 minutes for Toulouse during their 0-0 draw with Hauts Lyonnais. I don't know how to say this team's name, and I didn't really care to learn. This game was for the French Cup round of 64, and Toulouse ended up advancing on penalty shootouts. A clean sheet is always good, but a 0-0 draw against a 5th division team in France that no one can pronounce their name properly is not good. Regardless, Mark McKenzie's job is not to score goals, and he helped his team hold a clean sheet, which led to Toulouse advancing on penalty shootout. So he did his job, the team didn't really do theirs, or I guess the offense didn't do their job. And the next player on the list, and the last one in France, is Tanner Tessman from Lyon. And on Saturday, Tessman started and played the full 90 minutes for Lyon during their 2-1 win over Fagnes Aulnoy. You know, I can't learn the name of these French teams, even though I'm one of the Frenchiest Frenchmen to ever French on YouTube. And if your name is that hard to pronounce, and I'm just going to say it, this team is in the 4th division of France, okay? But if your name is that hard to pronounce, you might as well stay in the 4th division of France. Imagine that team that no one can say their name becomes actually good, and they're playing like in the Champions League. It just wouldn't work out, right? I would have to talk about them more often. And as for Tanner Tessman, I didn't watch this game, but he had the 2nd highest FootMob rating of his entire team, despite not getting any goal contributions. And of course, the best way to analyze a player's performance is through stats and the eye test combined. You know, actually watching and checking the stats. Based on the stats, he balled out. He was very good. But I doubt many people in the United States watched any of the French Cup games. But if you did watch Tanner Tessman, let me know in the comment section down below. Did he actually play well? Okay, now let's go to the Netherlands and talk about the Americans in the Eredivisie. The first ones being the PSV boys, Malik Tillman, Richie Ledesma, and Ricardo Pepi. And on Sunday, Tillman and Ledesma both started for PSV during their 3-0 win over Feyenoord. And this was supposed to be a very tough game, but it turned out being pretty easy, right? It was 3-0 and PSV didn't really even have to really push it. Malik Tillman played the full 90 minutes, and in my opinion, there's a strong case for him to be one of the man of the matches, or at least in the man of the match debate, alongside Perisic and honestly even Luuk de Jong, that finally actually played well. Tillman was okay in possession for most of the game. I would say above average, but nothing special or spectacular. However, he was actually pretty freaking good on defense, and he scored PSV's 3rd goal. A GOLAZO, a beauty, a banger, a wonderful shot from the edge of the box, which, by the way, he started the play. He even got the hockey assist, which is the pass prior to the assist, and then he scored the goal himself. As for Richie Ledesma, he played as a right back this game, and he did fine. I would say he had a solid performance against a very good opponent in theory, because when it came to reality, Feyenoord kind of sucked. And I must mention that Santi Jimenez dropped a stinker when he faced a real opponent, right? He'll get a hat trick against like Go Ahead Eagles or Excelsior. And then when he has to play an actual opponent like PSV, he didn't do anything. I mean, he hit the post once, but he didn't do crap the whole game. Now, Ricardo Pepi got no minutes. Zero. Nada. Even though they had a 3-0 lead with 30 minutes to go and the game was 100% under control. However, after the game, the PSV's coach, Peter Bosz, said that Ricardo Pepi did deserve to get subbed in, but it was not possible due to cramps. Now, the translation might have been a bit off here and there. I don't know. The point is, Ricardo Pepi was rested. Last but not least in the Eredivisie, we have Taylor Booth and Paxton Aronson from Utrecht. And on Sunday, Paxton Aronson was not available for Utrecht because he was suspended. And that's probably one of the reasons why they were destroyed 5-2 by Fortuna Sittard, a mid-table team. They truly missed Paxton. I mean, Paxton Aronson has been great this season, and it shows. Now, Taylor Booth, on the other hand, he has been quite poor this season, and he stayed on the bench the full 90 minutes. He probably needs a loan to a weaker side to get minutes and his confidence back up, because the talent is there. We've seen it with Taylor. We've seen him perform well, but it just hasn't really been a good season for him. Okay, now let's go back to England and talk about the Americans in the EFL Championship, the 2nd division of England. The first one would have been Josh Sargent from Norwich, but he's still injured and he's expected to be back in January. Ethan Horvath continues to not play for Cardiff City, so there's nothing to say there. He's on the bench, the American goalkeeper. Haji Wright is still not available for Coventry because he still hasn't recovered from that nasty ankle injury that he had, I believe it was over a month ago. And Aidan Morris has not been available for Middlesbrough due to a knee injury, but Aidan Morris is expected to be back in January. So let's talk about the only American that played in England over the weekend, or in the 2nd division of England, and his name is Brendan Aronson from Leeds. And on Saturday, Brendan Aronson started and played 73 minutes for Leeds during their 4-0 win over Oxford United. Aronson got a goal and assist during this win. The assist helped them get the 2-0 lead. It was a nice combination play in the box. While the goal that he got, it was the 3-0 lead goal, where Brendan Aronson got a nice first touch in the box, followed by a clinical finish to make it 3-0 and put the nail in the coffin. My point here was that Brendan Aronson was crucial for Leeds this weekend. Now we're going to leave England and go to Scotland because we have two Americans that played there for Celtic, but they didn't play this weekend. The thing is, Celtic won the Scottish League Cup last weekend, so I guess the coach just decided to rest a few of their players. So Cameron Carter-Vickers and Austin Trusty didn't even make the bench for Celtic this weekend. Once again, there are no reports of injuries, and they definitely have not gotten benched. So I'm assuming they were just rested, and I think it's a pretty safe and fair assumption. Alright everyone, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to drop a like before you go and go to Instagram and enter our giveaway. You still have time. We're not going to be announcing the winner until New Year's, alright? And that's all for today. Thank you very much for watching. We will have a USMNT Abroad episode next Monday. Even though some of the leagues won't be playing, we're still going to be doing the update. It'll be a shorter episode, but we're still going to put in the work for you. Thank you very much for watching and have a great day.